G stream. Hello, everybody. Okay, actually, yeah, better make you a bit bigger there. I had one person on the other day, and yeah, I had to shrink it down quite a lot. We are just waiting on for at least one more of our players to arrive. Oh, hold on, better turn on the desktop audio. I don't think anyone can hear you guys right now. There we go.
Hello, Nib.
Hello.
There, yep, that's going on.
Yo.
So, point of order. Yes, Dragonfey. Well, some of us are here today. Not everybody is here today. No, I'm just. Why is the Twitch overlay covering my stream chat? Okay, that's a bit annoying. Hello, Nabe. Welcome in. We've only got 3 people in at the moment, and the rule is we need at least 4 of the players. So we're gonna chat a bit before we can actually start stream. So yeah. So
Crit, here's a question for you, Crit.
yes.
What do you have as a backup?
What do I have as a backup?
Yeah, just in case someone doesn't turn up.
Shit, I haven't really thought about it. I didn't really prepare that today, if I'm being honest.
Make a Power Ranger character.
Oh no, we already did that one. We already did that.
Make a Transformer character.
I mean, it's pretty much the same process. Although there is something else we could do. Absolutely something else.
I just thought of another one because you have the book, and I presume you have I presume that came with the PDF. We could look at Daggerheart.
We could look at Daggerheart. I was also thinking, because we are getting closer, because I'm only 11 people away now for the one shot. Oh, you got an advantage there, Selena from Dragonfey.
Thank you very much, Dragonfey. Much appreciated.
And also thank you for the bits, Dragonfey. Much appreciated. Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna put some music on in the background just so, you know, doesn't sound so dead, I suppose. Something on in the background. There we go. Cover up any dead air that there might be. That's better. Alright. So yeah, if one person does show up, we will be starting the game off. But for now, has daylight savings happened? No, we're nowhere near either daylight savings. I don't think, because I know that throws off, because we got people from both sides of the Atlantic in this game, and I know that throws people off when daylight savings comes up, because they're not synced up. Anyway. Yeah, another thing I was thinking of doing, something I could actually pull up real quick, is shadowdarklings.net. And I can show you the process of making a character in Shadowdark real quick. Take like 2 seconds. Oh no, I'll get it open. Yeah, I've shown this to you already, Selena, haven't I?
You have indeed.
Alright. And I believe I spoke with you about it, Nox, but I don't think I actually gave you a live demonstration.
You haven't given me a live demonstration, but you've made characters and shown me how the character sheet looks like, and
yeah. Alright, so that's an easy one to do, I guess.
We talked a little bit about the goblin guy we made. We kind of you didn't show me, you kind of ran through it quickly just for the kind of a quick demonstration on the goblin assassin-y character.
Alright.
We made after stream last week.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, that was last week. Okay, so you can see I've made a load of kobolds. These kobolds I've used for test characters. So you go up to create character. Now I'll show you guys I'll show everyone here what ones we'll be using. So scroll 1, 2, 3, and 4, BR and K. Those we're all using for the Ravenloft one shot, alright? The Roustabout is a joke character. It's essentially the equivalent of Blue Mage. It was released for April Fools, so we're not going to be using that. We are also not going to be using the third-party sources. They're a bit busted, and some of them kind of break the rule of Shadowdark, which is dark vision. And that kind of just ruins the whole point of the game. So, none of that. All right. So we will get the Strixhaven if someone else shows up. If not, I'll be changing tonight's title. I'm going to give them about 15 minutes. I think that's a fair amount of time. All right. So we hit so you can either go design a random level 1 character or a random level 0 character. You go level 0, you can either do just 1 or 4. We're just going to go to design. This will be making a character at level 1. All right. So enable edit mode. We don't want edit mode. That stays off. Leave minimal details off as well. All right. So we got a roll for a background. Now you can have the standard background, the diabolical background, or the Nord background. Doesn't matter. Pick one of them, or have all 3 of them on. Oh no, you can only have one at a time on. Pick one of them. This one is the average one. This one is like, this one will be more your flavor knocked, diabolical. And Nord is essentially Viking themed backgrounds. There's 20 of each. You just roll for that acolyte. You were well trained in religious rites and doctrines. Easy. Flavor text. Now we roll for stats. All right. So we've rolled.
Isn't it? You didn't use.
Yeah.
Didn't you say the stats are kind of like you don't pick and choose? Just the first roll is blank.
Yeah. So the stats roll in the way they are. Yeah, I have to. I'm just making Shadowdark characters for the time being, Dragonfae, until we get a 4th player. If not, I have to figure something else for stream because I did not have a backup. So this is just kind of our emergency thing while we're waiting on people. Yes. Okay. All right. So ancestry. We have 7. We have 7 here because the kobolds included 6 of the book. So don't throw dice at the players. Well, we will count it. Selena, keep that advantage for next week if we don't end up playing tonight, all right? But that advantage is, you can throw dice at people, Dragonfae, just know it might not be used this week if we don't get someone showing up. All right. So we got dwarf, elf, goblin, halfling, half-orc, human, and kobold. There are more on the way. They're releasing another book, which is reprinting a lot of the classes from the scrolls, but it's adding a whole bunch of new races as well. So it'll be adding.
What races are they adding? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I know that they're doing. 2 of them I do know that they're releasing is the half elf, because we only have a regular elf, and a full-blooded orc.
Mm-hmm.
Because we only have the half orc, we don't have the full-blooded orc. So those 2 are going to be in it. I don't know about the rest. Kobold is also going to be in there, because so far Kobold is a site exclusive, as well as classes that are site exclusive on Shadow Darklings are Bard and Ranger. They're going to be in the second book too. So Bard and Ranger, they're in there.
As a huge Ranger fan, I'm excited to see what Ranger is like in this game.
It's actually pretty good. Pretty fucking good. It's not. It's weirdly enough.
Mm-hmm.
It is archery. It is archery focused as well as apothecary focused. It's not about spells, but it's about living off the land and making potions and firing.
The
arrows.
way Ranger should be.
I like Rangers with spells, but
in my opinion,
it is flavored quite well in here. So I think people will quite
I don't
enjoy
mind the spells, but I don't mind the spell part, but I do think, just to go, it's because on the conversation, that D&D focused a bit too much on that rather than having a proper alchemist type group.
Yeah, they gave alchemist as a subclass to artificer. Meanwhile, Pathfinder actually made an alchemist class, and it fucking slaps. Just gotta throw that shit. Okay, so I'm gonna throw this up to the players. Which of these 7 should we pick? So we got we got acolyte background, but they're not built for a priest. Fighter and the Sea Wolf are the 2 best ones. For the stat recommendations.
What do you 2 think?
Dwarf, elf, goblin, halfling, half-orc, human, or kobold?
Dwarf fighter dwarf fighter, I would suggest.
Dwarf.
fighter.
Okay.
Let's go dwarf. Yeah, let's go dwarf. Yeah.
Dwarf. Okay, we got a dwarf. Now we gotta select the class. So fighter is there, but I just want to show you there are other ones that are recommended here. So 19% for the fighter, 17% for the sea wolf, 16% for the
Right.
desert rider. Yes.
I've just realized as well, when you are clicking on the drop downs, we're not actually seeing the drop down boxes.
Oh,
we're
you're-
just seeing.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So weird. Why is that not picking it up?
Because you're just streaming, or you're streaming the program, you're not streaming the screen, unfortunately.
Okay, well
Which
that's
makes it a little bit more difficult.
All right. Well, I will show you guys the ones that are under the stat rolls. That's what everybody can see. So there is priest is there at 3%. That's not great. Basilisk warrior.
I was going to suggest, is there a priesty type one?
Yeah, there is a priesty type one, but look at it. It's 3%. You rely on the wisdom to cast your spells as priest. Like priest is the cleric equivalent. Well, I will say this about the sea wolf. The sea wolves
Yeah.
are essentially Vikings who go on raids in honor of their gods. So that is kind of priesty.
A dwarf.
Dwarf Viking, yeah.
Yeah, a dwarf Viking sounds that could be fun.
All right,
Does
just
sound
run it
like
up.
it could be fun.
All right, want to pick that then. So, so we go to. I will have to edit this part out as a separate video, I'd say. So there we go. We got the sea wolf thing, so it'll be useful for you guys on the later on. Okay, and the next thing you do is you got to roll for a talent. So talents you get every odd level, and if you some of them you can get twice, and sometimes they stack, or you have to re-roll. Depends on what class you get. We'll roll for class talent. All right, attacks deal a +1 damage. So that was between a 3 to a 6 on 2d6s. All right, that's actually pretty fucking good. Now we roll for this. All right, so +2 HP, because dwarves always start with a +2 to HP, and they rolled a 7, and they have a +1 to con. So they rolled a 10. 10 hit points at level 1. It's very chunky. Very, very chunky.
Yeah, considering
For
when you
Shadowdark.
showed me last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you showed me last week after the campaign, we rolled a 1 for HP.
Yeah, because the minimum you can always. So if you have a negative to con and you roll less than that negative, you just have 1 hit point. You can't get lower than 1 hit point. So next we roll for the gold. All right, we got 35 gold, and I always recommend buying a crawling kit. That takes about 7 gold pieces. We have 28 gold pieces left. So first things first, we got to buy a weapon. All right, so it has a ticked here. Only sea wolf weapons, which means just the weapons the sea wolf is proficient in. That makes it easier, and we have the gold cost here.
Okay.
So the longsword, which is a really good one, that costs 9 gold pieces. The great axe costs 10 gold pieces, which would leave us with 18, and we still need to get armor. We already got a crawling kit, which gives us a lot of stuff.
Why don't you go with the obsidian spear?
The obsidian spear. Why the obsidian spear?
Oh no, it breaks on a natural. One, because of the fact that it's a 4 gold piece weapon, but also deals a d8, which is the same as what a longsword deals.
Well, it is breakable. Yeah, if you roll a natural one. So while it is affordable, it is there's a bit of a risk reward with that one. So not a bad shout, but you caught it there. That it is quite dangerous. So what is the consensus? I'd actually suggest that like you get a melee weapon, and if you can't afford it, because you need your physical attacking weapon always. You also need your armor. But it's good to have something at range. So I would say get a big weapon and then a couple of spears. Maybe even like 1 obsidian spear, 2 regular spears, so you'd have something to throw. Because if you buy the bow, or
I'd say maybe a
if you buy the
spear or
bow,
something. Yeah, I definitely need a spear.
If you buy the bow, you have to buy the arrows. Okay, so it's all right. So you think so? Spear for range weapons. What about melee weapon?
Melee. Do we have an axe of some description, maybe?
Great axe, 10 gold pieces.
I mean, the longsword at 9 gold pieces is up there with the highest amount of damage that you can deal.
Yeah.
The only higher one would be a two-handed wielding great axe. I
What
don't know.
about
Can you
a
get shields in
short
this game?
sword?
You can get shields.
Okay.
Maybe go
swords are not available.
short sword. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have
the
anything
Seawolf-
like
the
a short
Seawolf-
sword that is available?
There are short swords, but the sea wolf is not proficient in short swords. The fighter.
What's our
first-
shortest weapon to go one-handed and?
Yeah, the longsword would be your best weapon. I would suggest for that. Either that or take the hit on damage in that sense for melee and go with a spear because of the ability to sort of poke.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
so
it does have close and near. I think that says.
yeah. So close is within 5 feet of you. Near is about 30 feet away.
Meaning that that weapon can be used as a melee weapon within close range, but then can be thrown up to 30 feet, give or take.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, you can see it has the TH, so it has throw. You may use this throw range that using strength or dex. Obviously, with the Sea Wolf's high strength, it will be with strength.
Yeah.
I think maybe going longsword and then going a shield would be our best.
Longsword and shield.
Longsword, shield, and the longbow. The longbow allowing you to then attack from
Well, you
range.
have. Oh, hold on now. You got 28 gold pieces. I gotta show you guys how much the armor costs. So the shield, round shield only it costs 15 gold pieces. You have 28 gold pieces. Well, actually, there's a regular shield here as well. That's 10 gold pieces. Still, that leaves you with 18 gold pieces left. And if you want, here's the thing: if you get the longbow, I have to show you basic gear. Arrows cost 1 gold piece per quiver. All right.
And how much is it? How many arrows does a quiver hold?
20.
20 arrow. Okay.
So longbow is 8, right? Longsword is 9. That so far is 17 out of. So that leaves you with 11. You buy the shields then. That gives you +2 to your AC. That's 10 gold. So you've already spent 17. So you would have exactly enough for your longsword, shield, longbow, and arrows. And then your gold is gone.
So then you play it a little bit more, I'll say, risky, and you go with the spear, the obsidian spear, at 4 gold pieces, doing the same damage as longsword. You play it a little bit riskier by having the natural 1 breakable side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've also got the backup weapon of the bow.
Yeah.
And you could then, on top of that, possibly look at buying any, like a set of leather armor, possibly.
All right. Let me just get that. So we're going to buy the longbow. We're going to buy the obsidian spear. Then we're going to go to the armor. We're going to buy the leather armor, leaving us with 6 gold pieces left, and we're going to buy arrows.
So we don't need shield then. Yeah, if we don't have a shield, that's fine.
All right. Now, next thing is, here's what we're going to do, because we're going to be playing this our game at level 5, so we're going to change it to milestone, because you can do it with XP, but that's kind of a pain in the ass. You just gain level 2. Level 2 is just a hit dice. So, Jesus Christ, we've already got 17. That is normally a character who's level 3 through 5 at 17 hit points. This is 17 hit points at level 2. That's real fucking good. So we roll level 3.
Goddamn.
Yeah. And now we get to roll for another class talent as well as hit points at level 3. So only 20 hit points, but you know what? 20 hit points still fucking good for level 3. And we get another +1 to damage. Alright, so that's good.
So that's already +2 to damage, plus I'm guessing that also includes your strength modifier onto that?
No. Here's the thing, you only roll the dice. Your strength modifier only helps you hit.
Strength is only to hit.
Yeah.
Not
Same
damage.
goes for dex.
Right.
And also
Okay.
strength checks and dex checks, but yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier then. So you've got a +2 to damage and a +2 to hit at this moment in time.
33 hit points at level 5. That's ridiculous. And
That is
another class talent. Once a day, go berserk, immune to damage for 3 rounds. That's a little broken.
Nice. Yeah, that is a bit broken actually.
Yeah. Alright, so there is alignment, lawful, neutral, chaotic. I believe they should have gone for good, neutral, bad. Evil. Not lawful, neutral, chaotic. I think it should have been the other terms, but whatever. So, which one of these should we pick for our dwarf?
Lawful.
Okay, lawful it is.
Lawful.
Alright, so deities.
Dwarves are fairly neutral usually.
Yeah. We have our Nord pantheon. Odin is lawful, or you can go for all Nord gods, which works for any alignment. As for the other,
Majority of them did do all, so
yeah,
they had some that they did for. Some of them were particular, but most of the time it was all.
yeah. Well, remember this is Shadowdark's version of the Norse gods, not quite the original Norse gods. They have the same names, but like artistic license here.
In regards to that, even if you're looking at it like basing it on Vikings and the Norse pantheon and all that sort of stuff, almost every single Viking worshipped all of the Norse gods. They were just sometimes they worshipped one more than they worshipped another because of the fact that a housewife would worship the god or goddess, I can't remember off the top of my head, of Freya, yep. Of of the harvest and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Don't know if that was Freya. Not off the top of my head at least.
Oh, what was that, Anubis?
What was that, Anubis?
Sif.
Sif, was it?
Okay, Sif. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
Sif.
course, Sif's
Yeah,
not
Sif.
here. Sif is not here. They only have 3 of the pantheon. They might expand that in future books, though. So.
But basically,
the god of the harvest was Freyr, who is the brother of Freya.
Oh, okay. Freyr. Okay.
Freyr, yeah.
Sif is
Okay.
the god. Sif is the goddess of I think love and
Well, anyway, we're not here for that. So we got to pick a deity here. Should we go for all the Nord gods, Odin, Freya, or Loki?
Go with all of them.
is the goddess of heart.
With all.
Of the heart.
All right. We also need to come up with a name for our dwarf.
Gavlar Ironfist.
All right. That's okay. There we go. His name, and we can either say like you can export it. But for you guys, what I want you to do for me is once you make your character at level 5, right? I need you to click this and DM me a link. So I'll have your characters imported onto Shadowdark, onto Boundary. Boundary. That was what I was trying to think. Jesus Christ, why couldn't I think of that? But yes, that's such it. And okay, the allotted time has gone. We've gone over the allotted time, so it doesn't look like we're going to be playing tonight. unfortunately. So
We could go over some Daggerheart, maybe? Like,
Yeah.
show a bit of that?
all right, we're going to be discussing Daggerheart. Just give me a second to edit my stream info and also remove a few names here. People didn't show up. Right. All right. Not Strixhaven.
Just while we were doing that, I was just like messing around on Hero Forge, and I have made the most flamboyant looking dance bard satyr, and he is literally wearing like a crop top, 80s crop top. I have literally just made a huge 80s
Nice.
satyr.
We're gonna see if Daggerheart's up on the stream. Suggests it is not, but there. You know what is there? Tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, tabletop in general, yeah.
There we go. On D&D, yeah, unfortunately, I am going to have to remove that. Art. TTRPG. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't.
Daggerheart discussion.
Yeah, I guess I'll throw that in. Marriage discussion. Sorry for having to change it. I should have had something back up prepared, but oh well. Save. Okay. Oh, one of our tags cannot be used. What? Remove the tag that I couldn't use. I guess Daggerheart discussions couldn't be used for some reason. Don't ask me why. Anyway, so we're changing to Daggerheart discussion, so give me a second here to open up my PDF reader and to get that PDF open. Oh yeah, there it is. Daggerheart Core Rulebook. It's already here. That makes it easier for us. I'll have to share it on screen now. Give me one moment. There we go. Alright, so screen reader, Daggerheart. Okay, that's up on screen. Oh god, that's way too. Hold on, let me make that bigger. Also, I'm gonna zoom this out a bit because we're only getting mostly the application. We're not getting much of that. The artwork on the cover is gorgeous. I have the physical book. I have the cards. They're fucking great. So let me just.
Be able to also share your screen in Discord itself.
Yeah, that might make things a bit. Hold on, let me just close down a few windows here because we don't need some of my Firefox tabs open to just give my laptop a bit of something to hold on to. So share screen.
The breed.
Yeah. That's not the right one to share. There we go. Go live. There we go. Now everybody can see it. Hooray! Alright, so we're going to talk about Shadowdark. Sorry, Daggerheart. Same number of syllables. That's why I got confused. Also because we just did do a character in Daggerheart. Shadowdark. God damn it. Alright, here we go. Yeah. Look at all these lovely people who worked hard on it. And I was actually quite surprised that I couldn't find Matt Mercer's name anywhere. I was, however, able to find Travis Willingham here, but he is the fucking CEO. So... Of course, his name is in there.
CEO of them.
Yeah, like maybe Matt is somewhere hidden.
I know Matt's
here.
main contribution was. Matt's main contribution was my favorite setting in the book.
Oh yeah. That yeah.
AKA
My favorite setting is the silly one. So yeah. Also, this gorgeous art here, like it's all done by one person. All the art in this book is one person. It's like holy shit. Normally these are collaborative efforts. So I think we're just going to go down to where touchstones. What the hell is this? Oh yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that's saying like, oh yeah, what's good stuff that's good. Check out. They do throw in the Legend of Vox Machina. I like that they're actually plugging their own stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy is a bit of a curveball there. but I like it.
I think that's because a good chunk of them are in that game, and like,
It says films and television.
Yeah, because they are all of them are in one way or another linked to the animated series.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Animated series. Borderlands from Gearbox. I think Tiny
Yep,
Tina's
all
would
of
have
them
been
are in that.
yeah. So yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition. I know a few of them in that. Elder
Are in
Scrolls
that too.
series. I don't know. I don't think any of them
Same.
have been in like maybe in the more recent stuff, and maybe in Elder Scrolls Online. But I think Elder Scrolls is in there just because they fucking love playing Elder Scrolls.
Matt Mercer is actually
are
in,
also-
Oblivion, the remake of Oblivion.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
He's,
realize they
I don't know
And-
who he plays, but I know he plays someone in the new one.
Okay, so
and
Golden
they
Rule.
are often a sponsor of them, and of like Critical Role itself. So they probably helped with the
Okay,
funding of the
yeah.
book.
that explains it. All right.
They are actually. I do know that a lot of their like theme music,
Mhm.
combat music, and stuff like that, tavern music,
Oh.
comes from a lot of the Elder Scrolls games.
Oh.
When they're sat at the actual table. So I know that's one of the main reasons why they've got it as well.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So let's see here. Be a fan of your character and their journey. Spotlight your friends. Address the characters and address players. Build the world together. I like that. Play to find out what happens. Hold on gently. We'll get to the worlds later on, like the different settings, but we're going to go through because weirdly enough, most TTRPGs they show the ancestries or whatever they call those. They show those first, and then they show the classes. Daggerheart shows the classes first, of all things. That's a
Because
little
they
bit
know
different.
what people want. They know what people want. They want to see the
I
classes.
am,
They want, like
yeah,
they
I
wanna
am
see
very
all
curious
that.
to see if there is any new classes since I've tried this. Because I've only ever tried Daggerheart once, and that was back during the very first beta,
Yeah.
like back during the very first playtest, and it was only a session.
Well, hold on now. We got them here. So starting off, we got Bard. You can be either a troubadour or a wordsmith so far. We got the Druid, and the subclasses are Warden of the Elements or Warden of Renewal. We got the Guardian, Stalwart or Vengeance. You might think that's the Paladin, but believe it or not, it is a split off from the Fighter because there's essentially two fighter classes, and then Paladin and Cleric get combined together into this class called the Seraph. Which is actually really good.
Yeah, Seraph is the one. Seraph is the one I played in the one shot.
Yeah. Ranger, Beastbound, or Wayfinder. So yeah, they got the
Ranger is a new one.
Yeah. Rogue, either the Nightwalker or the Syndicate. So I believe the Syndicate is kind of like the mastermind slash like the Syndicate seems like the mastermind, the Inquisitor, and of course the Assassin.
Yeah.
Whereas the Nightwalker seems to be more
Syndicate is
manipulate the
the
shadows.
newer version. Yeah, and Nightwalker was in the original, and it was kind of like Arcane Trickster is the best way to say
Yeah,
it. Psy Soul Knife, the magic-y rogue.
Yeah. So the Seraph is interesting because essentially you are technically a priest slash paladin, but you're also like part angel because of it. Which is
Sorry, the way
yeah.
you said that made me cringe.
Sorry, why did it make you cringe?
Seraph,
Seraph.
not Seraph.
What?
Seraph. The actual way to say that is seraph, not seraph.
Okay, fine, Seraph. Okay.
No. It's just one of those. It's
Oh,
it's
look at me!
pronunciation
Look
kind
at
of thing.
me!
I'm sorry that I was
Seraph.
part of the beta as well. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I also spoke to Matt Mercer about it.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So, moving on. The Sorcerer. Did I say that one right?
Oh!
Aha.
Okay. Anyway, I'm only messing. You can get the Elemental Origin or the Primal Origin. So, yeah. They seem to be very similar flavors in that sort of regard. Yeah, hold on, right. That is impressive, lol. Just reading what Faye is writing there. And then the warrior. The warrior is, yeah, that one is also essentially like another variant of the fighter. Call of the Brave or Call of the Slayer. So yeah, so if we look at so like these seem to be like focused on, this is like someone who's focused on bravery, and hey Anubis, for next week's game you've got advantage, so make sure you write that down somewhere. Thank you, Dragon Faye. So yeah, the Guardian is like the stalwart and vengeance. So like, you know, they've kind of like got like they kind of strike me as they have like an oath. Like they've made a promise.
The way I always thought of it, the Guardian seems to be more the barbarian side of fighter, more the I'm a big tanky dude.
All right. Whereas the Guardian does.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. The Warrior, on the other hand, seems to be like Call of the Slayer. So this is more like combat focused here. And Call of these two seem to be way more combat focused. Like they're specialized. They are specialists. That's what I'm getting from the Warrior.
Warrior is your Warrior is effectively the champion fighter.
Yeah.
More martial than they are anything else. The one before I can't remember the name.
Alright, so Call of the Brave, it says here, if you want to use the might of your enemies to fuel your own power, and Call of Slayer is you want to strike down adversaries with immense force.
Champion.
Yeah, that's what that's what they feel like. That's what they feel like. Yeah. Alright, and the last one we got here is the Wizard. School of Knowledge or School of War. Pretty straightforward, and that does sound pretty much like your typical wizards that you'd see in D&D. So yeah, those are straightforward. Okay, so
from looking at them, the knowledge one seems to be the more everything, while the war one is a lot more combat magic.
Yeah. So the ancestries now, they don't add a whole lot to your character, but they add enough to flavor them. Like most of your flavor comes from your class, and the cards help you customize it to make it feel different every time. You also get to choose a community, which is pretty goddamn handy as well.
Yeah, that's a much better way to do the what was it in D&D? It was the the way you choose your starting like wealth
backgrounds. Yeah,
you're like not even just the backgrounds. There was you were in squalor, you were
that whole system was a bit like clunky, wasn't it? All right, so we have a whole.
Because the way I always saw that one is, why would you choose anything but a good gold amount?
Yeah.
This one is just purely for background.
Yeah.
For character development.
We have a lot of if I'm looking at that right, we have about 18 races in this. And here's the thing, you can make hybrids out of any of them because it has a very straightforward rule for when it comes to making a hybrid race. They essentially have two abilities. Every race has two abilities. I forget what the exact word for them are, but you have to take the first ability from one race and the second ability from the other. You can't take two first abilities or two second abilities. It has to be the first from one and the second from another, and it does lend to some very creative builds. Especially if you like take a clank or a fungrill, and the way I'd rule that is, if you were to say make a half fungrill, because fungrill are actually literally mushroom people who grow from spores. Like they don't have the traditional reproduction.
The way I would do that is
clanks are robots. Making a wish.
You could. Yeah, you could very much do a sentient armor.
Yeah.
Like sentient armor, quote unquote, for combining a clank and a fungi.
Yeah, that's one. But like, you know,
Fun
just
girls,
I'm not talking about just combining those two together. I'm talking about taking either of those two and combining them with any other one. Now, if you do combine a Clank with one of the other ones, you
Yeah.
just say that they're a magic cyborg, and that works too.
Yeah.
But the fun girl, I guess, you know, maybe someone was dying and, you know, they got healed by magic fungus that made them half mushroom. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you
Yeah.
can figure this out.
Or you could go with the cordyceps virus.
That too, yeah. Or you know, another way
Yeah.
to do it is that. So there was a D&D supplement I really liked. I never got to actually have people try it out. It was called An Orc and an Elf Had a Little Baby. They released 3 PDFs for it, and the way they described for creatures that wouldn't normally have the ability to reproduce, 2 parents who would be of, if one parent was unable to, like, you know, reproduce to have the child, they could do something like make a wish to make a child that represents both parents, and that's how they reasoned it there. So that's another way to do it as well. All right. So, but anyway, we're going to go through them now in a second. I will say though, I've noticed that a lot of the cat race, they did take a lot of inspiration from Final Fantasy XIV's Makote. Like, they even have the Makote stripe cheeks that they naturally have that's meant to represent whiskers.
Cat girls.
Yeah, cat girls, cat boys, and they can also represent Hrothgar as well, because they can literally be any kind of cat creature. Now in D&D, I would rule, if you're playing a tabaxi, you're not playing a fucking cat girl, you're playing a cat furry, and you're going to like it. But in this, there is lore that there is a whole range of them. I'm like, okay, that's fine. If I was running D&D with a tabaxi, I'm like, no, you're not allowed to be a cat girl. You have to be a full cat furry. That is it. that's just me, though.
Unless you can really the way I would rule that is you have to really word it correctly for me. How the hell you look so human?
Yeah. Or there is actually an option I would let people use. There's a race that's from Eberron that has people with that has animal features. I forget what the shifter, I think they're called. I would just say
shifter.
If you want to play a cat girl, you play a shifter, not a tabaxi. But to be honest, the shifter is actually really fucking good. So people who I said that to usually were quite happy with it. It's just like, look, if you're going to play a tabaxi, like, pick it to be it for a cat girl. You're only doing it because you're afraid to be called a furry. That's what I say. I take offense to that being a furry. I'll stop. Okay, great your experiences. So we're going to scroll down. What else is there? Oh yeah, an example character sheet. So Primal Origin, Lordborn Elf. Oh yeah, you got the Sorcerer there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so there's a character sheet for every class, and I guess that's another reason why they introduced the classes first, because every class has its own sheet, whereas the races wouldn't. Let's see here now. Okay, yeah, so we got all of these. So every 2 of these makes one of the races. One of the classes. So if they wanted to like, instead of following this graph, if they're going to introduce more classes, what they could do is they could say combine these 2 and make another one altogether. Like, what are those 2 called? That is called Grace and Bone. So if they figured out something for Grace and Bone, that's a whole new subclass there. They could like mix, say, is Valor and Blade already mixed? Doesn't look like it actually. No. Oh no, they are. They're right next to each other. So Valor and Blade already make Guardian.
But I know Matt has said in like past talks about Daggerheart that he wants to try and figure a way to bring Bloodhunter into this without it being called Bloodhunter, because
they have to rename it. Like, he came up with the damn class, but like, because he sold it on, what was it again? Not D&D Beyond.
The DM's Guild.
DM's Guild, yeah. WotC
DM's Guild.
technically own it. Yeah. Same goes for Drive-Thru RPG. Like, be very careful on those sites if you put your stuff on it, because then WotC will own it. Alright. Oh, and here we got a picture of a clank.
That's why Yeah, I love the look of the clanks.
Clanks are really cool. There's our living magic robots. Alright, so we got...
They are such a better version of Fantasy Robot than Warforged. I love Warforged, but these are legit robots.
Yeah, well, one thing...
It's so cool.
One thing I always prefer with fantasy robots is to not refer to what they get as programming, because then you have to imagine like a goddamn fancy computer with a keyboard and someone typing it in. Like,
people.
yeah, and it's just like, no, then it's not fantasy. Then you're moving into sci-fi, you know? Like, you gotta come up with this.
But sci-fi fantasy is an awesome mix.
Well, that's
sci-fi fantasy is an awesome mix.
It is, but you're getting to Star Wars territory when you get to there, because Star Wars is a sci-fantasy, not a sci-fi. I actually had to correct someone on that before the other day, because people keep calling Star Wars a sci-fi, and I'm just like, well, no, because it has a lot of fantasy elements. It's a science fantasy. But anyway, yeah, so we see the bard here. We get the troubadour stuff. This art is... Oh, and they even show the combat wheelchair, which is part of this book. There is a combat wheelchair section, which I like. Yeah, we got...
Yes.
We got our satyr there. Yeah, like, we're not going to...
Despite all the discourse I have seen on Reddit about that.
Honestly, just let people who are in wheelchairs feel represented in TTRPGs. That's all. That's what the person who made them wanted. That's it. That's all they wanted, and I believe it is they are they them. But I think they got off the internet because a lot of people were still harassing them over making the combat wheelchair, and it's just like, will you just get a life? Like,
I love the combat wheelchair.
Yeah.
I love the combat wheelchair. It's so cool.
I'm not accusing you. I'm accusing the people who are like harassing this poor person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
All right. So class items, romance items. So yeah, we got a few things here. Starting hit points for the bard is 5. Okay. So choose either the troubadour or wordsmith. Foundation feature. Specialization feature maestro. Mastery feature virtuoso. Okay.
Virtuoso.
And then we got wordsmith here, which is eloquent, epic poetry, rousing speech. All right. Yeah. Oh god, like I'm just skimming the classes because they're the meat of this, and there's a lot in them, and I don't want to get too stuck on them, you know? Like, if there's anything any of you want to discuss specifically, if you want to go in depth with any of these classes, let me know, and I'll have I'll go over
I would definitely
stuff.
like to see the ranger, personally.
All right, let's go down to the ranger then.
I would like to have a look at the ranger.
Any objections for the ranger?
From me.
Okay. Lena, is there anything else? Is there any class that you would like to take a closer look at?
Not really.
Okay, fair enough. Anubis?
I've seen the majority of them.
Okay.
Anubis is muted at the minute.
Any of the classes you want to get a closer look at here in Daggerheart? Faye, the bar for that is so low, it probably very well is.
Hold on. I don't know.
Anything is better than the 5e ranger.
Yeah. Tasha's ranger is pretty good though, but still could have had improvements.
Yeah, but
Pathfinder ranger though.
I'm still.
Pathfinder ranger, Shadowdark
I'm still a
ranger,
firm believer that
amazing.
the way they should have done ranger is the way that I think it was 3.5 had it. Third edition had it, where every ranger had a companion, had a beast companion. Every version of ranger had a beast companion.
Yeah, that would have made it a lot
was just
better.
Part of ranger's
It's just part of the ranger, and I believe the one in 3.5, the ranger's companions scaled with their level. So the companion
Yes,
wouldn't automatically
it did
be
indeed.
killed. You know. But yeah. Anyway, so
That's why, like my ranger, who I've played with for years,
yeah.
who has been was my first ever character back 16 years ago. Jesus, I've been playing TTRPGs for 16 years. Even though it was in like the newer Rangers, obviously, it was just using that. We use that type of animal companion stuff into the Beastmaster subclass. We just said it's more fun that way.
Yeah.
Leads to better stories, and that's how my ranger character went into Warlock, because his animal companion sacrificed itself to save him. So now he has like a cool spirit character following him around.
Well, anyway, we've actually arrived to the Ranger. So let's
Okay.
have a look at it here. So, Rangers are highly skilled hunters who, despite their martial abilities, rarely lend any skills to an army. That's usually true. Through mastery of the body and a deep understanding of the wilderness, Rangers become sly tacticians, pursuing their quarry with cunning and patience. Many Rangers track and fight alongside an animal companion with whom they forge a powerful spiritual bond. By honing their skills in the wild, Rangers become expert trackers, as likely to ensnare their foes in a trap as they are to assail them head on. Pretty fucking cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Starting health is 6, starting evasion is 12, so yeah, that's actually better than the Bard was. The Bard was 5. Class items, a trophy from your first kill, or a seemingly broken compass. I like how it says seemingly broken.
Seemingly broken, yeah.
The DM said the room seems empty. I don't understand. The DM said the room seems empty.
Yeah, never trust a smiling DM.
Yeah, or
another thing with the seemed empty.
Yeah. Like whenever seemingly is in this, so like, you know, there's something up with it. Okay, that one I think though, the seemingly with the broken compass, that's something between the ranger player and the DM to discuss what it could be for.
Yes.
I do like your
Yes,
note taking emote there, Dragon Fae. It's great. Let's see here. Ranger's focus. Spend a hope, make an attack against the target. On a success, you deal your attacks normal damage and temporarily make the target your focus until this feature ends, or you make a different creature your focus. You gain the following benefits against your focus. You know precisely what direction they're in. Okay, so this is their hunter's mark. When you deal damage to them, they must make a stress. Mark a stress. Okay. When you fail an attack against them, you can end your ranger's focus feature to re-roll your duality dice. Alright. That's actually pretty fucking cool. Okay, so subclasses. You can either take the Beastbound or Wavebinder. Okay, so let's take a look at the Beastbound. I think this is the one that most people are going to pick.
Yes, this is the animal companion.
Your spellcast trait is agility. So your dexterity is what your spellcasting focus comes from. Oh my god, think of how much that would have fixed the D&D range. Think of how that would have changed it to unplayable to absolutely broken. And with the Tasha's Ranger, it would have made them absolutely unstoppable. Oh my god.
Oh no, I'm just imagining something.
What?
Imagine a Gloomstalker with that.
Jesus Christ. That's pretty.
Imagine how broken Gloomstalker would be with that.
Imagine how broken Tasha's Gloomstalker would be with that.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right. So, companion, you have an animal companion of your choice at the DM's discretion. They stay by your side unless you tell them otherwise. Take the Ranger Companion sheet. When you level up your character, choose a level up option for your companion from this sheet as well. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, you
level up with you, hell.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Expert training. Choose
Yeah.
an additional level up option for your companion. Nice. Battle bonded. When an adversary attacks you while they're within your companion's melee range, you gain a +2 bonus to your evasion against the attack. Advanced training. Choose 2 additional level up options for your companion. Holy shit. Loyal friend. Once per long rest, when damage
And then,
from
or
an attack will mark your companion's last stress or your last hit point, and you're within close range of each other, you or your companion can rush to each other's side and take that damage instead. Oof. That one
that
right there is
is
very
what
sad.
Beastmaster should be.
Yeah. It should. Okay. So let's see here. So spellcasting trait is still an agility for the wayfinders. That tells me that future subclasses could have different spellcasting abilities,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
All I can tell you is whenever we run Daggerheart, I know what I'm playing first.
Yay. Yeah. So Ruthless Predator. When you make a damage roll, you can mark a stress to gain a +1 bonus to your proficiency. Additionally, when you deal severe damage to an adversary, they must mark a stress path forward. When you're traveling to a place you previously visited, or you carry an object that has been at the location before, you identify the shortest, most direct path to your destination. Not bad.
See, that's a cool way to do Rangers. Rangers are about,
Yeah.
well, in my opinion, because everyone has a different opinion of what Rangers should be.
Yeah.
Rangers is about knowing the land,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily being able to control it, but about knowing it.
Yeah.
Knowing shortcuts in nature,
And not
knowing,
forcing people.
that tree bench can hold my weight.
Yeah. Not forcing a ranger to pick one type of topography to be their specialty and fuck them up forever. Elusive predator.
Oh, do not talk to me about that.
Yeah, when your focus makes an attack against you, you gain a +2 bonus to your evasion against the attack. Apex Predator. Before you make an attack roll against your focus, you can spend a hope. On a successful attack, you remove a fear from the GM's fear pool. All right. That is. The tigers are big, but that is unless she's a halfling. If she's a halfling, then that tiger is about the right size. Then. Oh, yeah.
That's not a halfling. That's a big ass tiger.
Might be a dwarf, judging by how she's built. I don't know. Could be anything. All right. So Ranger Companion.
Ranger Companion.
So here's the stuff we want to see. Your pet. So when you choose the Beastbound Ranger subclass, so step 1, name your companion. That's pretty obvious. Right in their evasion, it starts at 10. Okay. Choose the companion. Choose their companion experience. Choose 2 experiences for your companion, based on their training. Start with a +2 in both experiences. Whenever you gain a new experience, your companion also gains one. All new experiences start at +2. Okay. That's cool.
And here's some example experiences, like bold distraction, expert climber, fetch,
friendly, guardian of the forest, horror. Yeah, that's a lot of cool stuff. Choose their attack and record.
I love the idea of just fetch.
Fetch, yeah. Fetch me that fleeing goblin. Yeah. Describe your companion.
A dire wolf is changing after a goblin.
Yeah, pretty much.
God, what have I just found?
What, Anubis? What have you
I'm
found?
listening, but at the same time, I literally just found Bleach Rebirth of Souls Ultimate Edition.
Oh, that game's kind of fun. That was on the Wii, right?
No, this is on Xbox.
Oh, hey, Bleach did not have enough games.
I think they're doing. Yeah, I think they're doing it in the how they did the Naruto Shippuden style.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bleach needs more games. Bleach should not get enough love in the games department. Finally, describe your companion's method of dealing damage, their standard attack, and record it in the attack and damage section. At level 1, your companion's damage die is a d6, and their range is melee. Alright. Oh, look at this orc and a raven. That's sweet.
Hell yeah.
And I'm saying raven because look at the size of that thing. That is too big to be a crow.
Yes, completely.
If you ever wondered the difference between ravens and crows, it's fucking size. Yeah. Working with your companion. Using spellcast rolls. Open experiences. Using a spellcast roll to connect with your companion and command them to take an action. Spend a hope to add an applicable companion experience to the roll. On a success with hope, your next action builds on their success. So it does seem like your companion does get a turn. Yes, you can have a best raven buddy, Dragonfey. Attacking with your companion. When you command your companion to attack, they gain any benefits that would normally only apply to you, such as the effects of Ranger's Focus. On a success, their damage roll uses your proficiency and their damage. Okay. So that's cool. So yeah, your Hunter's Mark works for your companion. I love that. I love
So
that
good.
so much. I love that so much. Let's see what else here. Oh no.
This makes me so happy.
Yeah. This is good stuff. Taking damage as stress. When your companion would take any damage, they mark as stress. When they mark their last stress, they drop out of the scene by hiding. Oh no, that's that. Oh, I'm just trying to imagine a bear just hiding away. They remain unavailable until the start of your
Imagine
next
just
long
like hiding
rest.
behind a bush, just little paws over the eyes.
Yeah. Leveling up is leveling up your companion. And let's see here now. When your character levels up, choose one available option from your companion from the following list. Mark it on your sheet. Intelligent. Your companion gains a permanent +1 bonus to a companion experience of your choice. Light in the dark. Use this as an additional hope slot your character can mark. Okay. Bonus slot, that's pretty cool. Creature comfort. Once per long rest.
Yeah.
When you take damage, a quiet moment to give your companion love and attention, you can gain a hope, or you can both clear a stress. Armored. When your companion takes damage, you can mark one of your armor slots instead of marking one of their stress. Okay. Vicious. Increase your companion's damage dice or range 1 step. Resilient. Your companion gains an additional stress slot. Bonded. When you mark your last hit point, your companion rushes to your side to comfort you. Oh. Roll d6s equal to the number of unmarked stress they have and mark them. If any roll is 6, your companion helps you up. Clear your last hit point and return to the scene. Okay. That just basically means you're back in the fight. Because your companion rolled a 6.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, there's a sheet for the ranger companion, as there should be.
Yes.
Alright, so there's the rogue.
Oh, I like that.
The art. Oh, I just realized.
Yeah,
that
the art is really
I just
cool.
thought they were a masked person, but it's the friggin' fun grill. It's a fun grill rogue.
I'm gonna say that's a fun girl, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fun grill rogue. I never stopped to take a look at it.
Oh, I like
But
that.
like, I just thought it was just someone dressed to the nines, but no, they're a mushroom rogue.
It looks like someone. It looks like very Bloodborne-y,
Yeah,
and then it's just
yeah,
they're
that-
like, hello.
That's Toad's cousin who went to go to like a much edgier game genre. Let's
Yeah,
see.
no, that's Toad's cousin who's still going through their emo phase.
Yeah, there's a seraph. Starting in point 7. That's actually, yeah. I guess that would make sense.
Oh.
They're the healer. I mean, clerics, priests, they're usually a bit chunky. That
Yeah.
work is gorgeous. All right.
Seraph is the one I played.
Oh, okay. How'd you find it?
I play Seraph was it was very fun. It was very fun because the way I did it, he was more of a healing through guiding.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was a teacher, so he kind of like helped with guiding their strikes and
All right.
telling them, "Oh, if you twist it this way,"
Yeah.
type thing.
All right. Okay, we're on to the part that I do want to get into, and this is because, to be honest, it's actually very quick to go through the ancestries. This is the ancestries. So
This is my favorite part of the ancestries. The fact we have the concept art.
yeah, and to show you a whole
In the
bunch of different
background.
ideas of what they could look like. I mean, look, they could have all their weapons built into them. Look at this guy. This looks like a character that came straight out of Chrono Trigger down here. I've seen art of Chrono Trigger. I've never played it, but like it
Yes.
does look like a character that came out of, or any sort of Toriyama like cover piece. Like, because when Toriyama wasn't doing a comic art and he did just cover pieces, he'd make machine art like that, and it was really fucking good.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, just Toriyama's standalone art pieces. They're fucking gorgeous. I recommend people check them out. All right, so let's see what else here we got. Yeah, they can even have them like dragon shed shapes and all that, dragon headed shapes and all that. Like they have the Clanks of like a power source, which is also where like their knowledge and stuff is stored. It's all in their head, so that's actually pretty. It's like a spark from Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, you know, they can lose their pen. Like, you know, like look at all these. Love it. All right. Here's my favorite race. Absolutely. Oh, actually, before we go to that, we need to talk about the
Will probably be my favorite
Yeah.
as well.
ancestry features. We better go through these first before I go through Dracona. Just powerful design. Decide who made you and for what purpose. At character creation, choose one of your experiences that best aligns with this purpose and gain a permanent +1 bonus to it. That's pretty good. Efficient. When you take
cool.
when you take a short when you take a short rest, you gain a long rest move instead of a short rest move. There we go. That's actually pretty good. All right. We're moving down to the Dracona. All right. So scales. Your scales act as natural protection. When you take a severe damage, you can mark a stress to mark 1 fewer hit points. Okay. So you can take a stress instead of damage. Sometimes. Yeah, your scales act as natural when you take severe damage. Okay. So you can take 1 less damage if you take a stress. If you take a severe. Elemental breath. Choose an element for your breath, such as electricity, fire, or ice. You can use this breath against a target or group of targets within very close range, treating it as an instinct weapon that deals D8 magic damage using your proficiency. Alright. Yeah. We got all the Dracona designs
That's
here.
pretty neat.
Yeah, like you got people who are like half Dracona here and here. You got people who are full. You even got like smaller looking Dracona if you want to get that kobold character in there. So yeah, you got some really cool.
Also, can we talk about how they have tails?
Yeah,
Like Dragonborn should.
They give you the options of it. Now, I do have an interesting. I do think I know the whole. There is an interesting way to explain the whole thing about the Dragonborns though back in D&D. So here's the thing with Dragonborns. With the lore they introduced in Fizzband, which I actually do think is some good WotC lore, Dragonborns are more mammal than they are draconic. So that's one of the reasons why they don't have tails. But most Dragonborn who don't have tails typically are Dragonborns who came from a mammalian source. So say, for example, a lizard folk spilled some dragon blood on their head and became a Dragonborn, right? If they did the Dragonborn ritual, they would absolutely have a tail. If a kobold did it to themselves, they'd probably have a stubby little kobold tail that looks really small on their body, but it would be a tail. But say if a human, elf, or dwarf did it, there probably wouldn't be a tail.
I'm just imagining though, I know you meant like a stubbier tail, like it's still long, but when I think stubby tail, I think like a little like boxer or pug tail, so it's just like a little bean just at top.
I mean, sure, why not? There's a whole bunch of different like breeds of kobolds and whatnot. But yeah, so the
Just
yeah, the Dracona are cool. So the dwarves here, I like how they all have facial hair, but like that's purely optional because I know it's like it depends on the person. Some people who play female dwarves, they like them with beards, others don't. And I do think we see some female dwarves outside of this artwork where they're clean shaven, but in the actual dwarf page, all the dwarf ladies have beards. So I think that's personal preference, and I think that's fair that people get to choose that.
they should.
Yeah, should be a choice.
Personally, I love giving. It should be a choice, and I personally love giving my female dwarfs slight beards. I think them having a little bit of 5+ shadow is such a cool way to make
Yeah,
dwarves a distinct thing by giving the female dwarfs beards. It just looks so distinct.
Oh, okay, so dwarves have a similar ability to the Dracona. Thick skin. When you take minor damage, you can mark 2 stress instead of marking a hit point. Yeah, that's for minor damage. The Dracona only get it for severe damage, but they only have to mark 1 stress. The dwarves have to mark 2 stress for minor. Okay, increased fortitude. Spend 3 hope to have incoming physical damage. Okay. So everything about the dwarves is about being really hard to take down. They're just stocky. And you know what? Shadowdark has the exact same thing. For Shadowdark, you get an extra 2 hit points on your first level for dwarves, which is actually insane for Shadowdark. The dwarves, at minimum, in Shadowdark, start with 3 hit points. That's their absolute worst. Anyway, elves. So, yeah, I don't think we need to read about what the elves are like.
Yeah.
But you know, this one here, she's like, okay, she's kind of like a stretched out Keyleth without the horns. Does anyone else see that? Is that just me?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
And this,
especially that one in the middle of the head in the middle of the tree, that is just straight up Keyleth.
This one?
If you look in the note on that row beside the colored picture, those 3 heads.
Oh yeah, that's the one I meant. Oh, you can't see me. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, but this girl here now, I don't like. She reminds me of someone. It's not Vex. It's not someone from Critical Role. She reminds me of someone. Actually, you know what? Selena, if you could look at the screen, you might be able to confirm this with me. Does that remind you of Shadowheart?
Yeah, that is
I can
very
see.
much.
Yeah, I can see. That's what it is. That's what it is. She's a little bit.
Do you know who else that reminds me of?
Who?
I can't think of her name. She's one of the ones from Dimension 20. She's got black hair. Hold on, Dimension.
Oh,
no, like the
you
actual
mean the player.
players.
The person who plays. The person who plays Fig. Yeah, I know who you mean. I just can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. I can also see Shadowheart. I can see it between the 2 of them. It's the bangs. The bangs. It's all in the bangs. All right. Okay, so
Emily Axford.
That's it. Yeah, and her actual husband is the one who plays the goblin character. I know his surname is Murphy. I can't remember his first name right now, because everybody calls him Murph. And his character is Riz. Yeah, those 2 are married. The quick reaction. Mark a stress to gain advantage on a reaction roll. Celestial trance. During a rest, you can drop into a trance and... Okay, yeah. So, pretty much the same.
I quite like the long necks on them.
Yeah, well, the long necks are optional, and I tell you, I think
just
I know...
in reply to Fairy.
Yeah, Dragon Fae, yeah. Dragon Fae, I think I know where they got these. I think that's in reference to the Elizon from 14. I mean, that one there in the middle, that is straight up Keyleth if she was an Elizon.
And also, for context as well,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings elves are meant to be very long, skinny things. So,
Yeah.
if it's just the movie version makes you think more humanish, but like in the because obviously movie,
Yeah, it'd be hard to pull off to make
Please.
them look stretchy. Honest.
I love these things. This is what I played. I played
The fairy.
I played a fairy. I played a fairy seraph that was like a lotus mantis. That looked like a lotus mantis.
Oh, hold on, drag back. Yeah, I play FF14 Elysin. I just wish they had more necklaces. Yeah, to cover the neck, I suppose. All right, so fairy appearances range from insect-like to humanoid, with a wide variety in between. Families, no matter their form, all fairies have wings. All right. So, like, yeah, they've
Yeah,
got
but
some
you
very
know,
insect-like examples, but this one here, she looks more humanoid. She just has like a couple. I think does she have extra insect arms? Oh no, that's just her dress. But yeah, this one here.
you know an orchid. You know an orchid mantis.
Yeah. Oh, that was your fairy. Your fairy
That's
was
what
like,
I played. I played a fairy
Ah.
that my fairy looked like an orchid mantis.
Oh, a fairy and a human for scale. So that's how big they are. They're not actually that small. But you know, they're still like, so if people want to play the classic Teehee fairy, but if people just want to play a cute moth person, like look at that. That fairy is straight up just an anthropomorphic moth. So many people are going to look at that artwork and go, I'm playing a cute moth. I'm going to play a poodle moth fairy.
Oh, I'm gonna whenever I make a fairy next,
Yeah.
it is so gonna look like a moth.
Yeah. Okay. So here we got the fawns. They could have called them satyrs, but yeah, they went with fawns. I guess just to make sure D&D don't D&D don't like go, "Meh, you're copying a lot of our stuff, even though they don't own the rights to that.
Yeah.
Greek mythology did it first, bitches. So Caprin leap. You can leap anywhere within close range as though you were using normal. Oh, we didn't look at read the fairies once. Hold on now. Luckbender. Once per session. We're going back to the fairies because we didn't read these. After you or a willing ally within close makes an action roll, you can spend 3 hope to roll the duality dice. Okay. Fair enough. So that's your 2d12s. You can wings. You can fly. While flying, you can mark a stress after an adversary makes an attack against you. Gain +2 bonus to your evasions against their attacks. All right. So we're going back to the fawns. And I mean, they've got a huge variety of designs for, like, they're all goat people. But, like, the variety of goat people they have is actually staggering. Look at the horn shapes, look at what level of goat face they have or don't have.
The one at the bottom reminds me, the bottom right reminds me of Pan from, not Pan's Labyrinth, from Hellboy 2.
Oh, yeah.
The way it was all.
And they had the same director, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see here. Caprin leap. So, you can leap anywhere within close range as though you were using normal movement, allowing you to vault obstacles to jump across gaps or scale barriers with ease. Kick. When you succeed on an attack roll against a target within melee range, you can mark a stress to kick yourself off them, dealing an extra 2d6 damage and knocking back either yourself or the target to very close range. All right. Okay, so here's something that I'm like, the Fearbolg, because they're doing the critical role thing again of making them cow people. Fearbolgs are yeah.
I know they're meant to be more giant, but I do love them as cow people because like it didn't even originally start like that. Matt just said that just Puma's soul kind of has a wee cow nose, but people ran with cow everything else.
Yeah, but see, that's my problem with it, because Fearbolgs are just supposed to be big people. That's it. And now everybody's like, oh, Fearbolgs are cows now. I'm just like, I love you, Critical Role, but Yeah, that just annoys me that people just associate actual mythological firbolgs for cow people. And the next thing that bugged me is that when friggin' Sam played a Minotaur, the Minotaur did not have a cow face. The firbolgs had more cow faces than the fucking people that were actually cow people. Anyway. That's enough of me about grumbling about, misrepresentation of Irish folklore. Yeah. Charge. When you succeed an agility roll to move from far to very far in a melee range, you can mark a stress and deal 1d12 physical damage to all targets within melee range. So yeah, that's a very Minotaur move right there. Unshakable,
Yeah.
when you would mark a stress, roll a d6. On a result of 6, don't mark it. I would prefer if they'd called them just Minotaurs. Because if they're going for the whole Minotaur features anyway, just make the Minotaurs. But hey,
Or Bovian, maybe? Like, just call them general, like, a cow thing, so you can, like, make them look like
no.
the Furbolgi, the critical role for Furbolgi, or the Minotaur look.
Yeah. Okay, the Fun Griller next. So
I love these things so much.
yeah, and also just look at the variety of art. There's so much art variety with them.
Yeah.
Like,
There's so many ways you could take
and like, there's
Fungrill.
been several in the book already. So many in the book. The Fun Roll Network, make an instinct roll, 12, so that's D12. To use your mycelial array to speak with others of your ancestry. On a success, you can communicate across any distance. Alright. Death connection. While touching a corpse that died recently, you can mark a stress to extract one memory from the corpse related. Oh my gosh. Holy shit.
That's so fun. I love it.
Yeah. My god, okay.
Imagine that with a seraph.
Yeah.
Really lean into the creepy cleric type.
Yeah, like Caduceus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Galapas, obviously a reference to the Galapagos tortoise. But like we got they say turtles here, but they are definitely more tortoises than turtles. Yeah.
I love these guys. They're so cool.
Yeah, they're adorable too. Like they got the Master Oogway vibes and all that. Shell.
Like the one that Taliesin played. Oh, I love it.
Oh, did he play
Sir
one?
Dante.
I didn't see it yet. Okay.
He was one for like when they were doing before the book was out, when they were doing they did 3 test games,
Okay.
and he played a Galapa that was basically a musketeer.
Nice. I like that.
It was so funny.
Alright, let's read their ancestry. So, Shell, gain a bonus to your damage thresholds equal to your proficiency. Jesus, that's actually pretty good. They still get to wear armor, but their shell gives them extra armor. So that is, and like, look, it's even got artwork there that their shells can be reinforced. That's actually pretty fucking cool.
See, I love that part. The fact that their armor can, because like realistically, turtles' armors are very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like on a realistic standpoint, turtles' shells are super sensitive.
Hold on now. Retract. Mark a stress to retract into your shell. While you're in your shell, you have resistance to physical damage. You have disadvantage on action rolls, and you can't move. Okay, so you can still do attacks apparently, but you do them at disadvantage.
I love the idea of just you're gone into your shell, just your arm pops out for a second.
Yeah.
Just swing your sword like just in front of you.
Yeah. All right, so giants. Let's see here now. You can be like a cyclops, a triclops. Like they got different amounts of eyes, or a typical biclops, which is what people have. So yeah, the giants are definitely the stand-ins for the Goliaths here.
Yeah, the Goliaths, and what a furball is meant to look like.
Yeah, so endurance features. So gain an additional hit point slot at character creation. And reach. Treat any weapon, ability, special, or other feature that has melee range as though it has a very close range instead. Alright. Yeah, so yeah, they got extra reach and they get extra hit points. So yeah, that's actually pretty fucking good. Okay. These little bastards are just far too fucking cute and I love them. Look at the goblins. Look at how
They're so cute.
look at how cute
They're
they're.
so cute, but so ugly.
I don't really see the ugly side. I just see the cute side personally. They're just silly little guys. Okay, so sure-footed. You ignore disadvantage on agility rolls. That sounds like it'd be very fucking useful for traps.
Yeah.
You never have disadvantage on agility rolls. Okay. Danger sense. Once per rest, mark a stress to force an adversary to reroll attacks against you or an ally within very close range. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Alright, so halflings. So yeah, literally half the size. And I do like that they have big shoes. A lot of them
Yes,
to show like
because they're always called halflings is because you're not allowed to use the word hobbit.
yeah, they're literally hobbits. But yeah, they have to use the word halfling. Okay, so luck trigger. At the start of each session, everyone in your party gains a hope. That makes sense. You know, I think I know why the halflings get the whole luck thing. It's because in The Hobbit, there were 13 dwarves, and they added on Bilbo be the 14th companion, so they wouldn't have an unlucky number. And he did get them through a lot of scrapes through sheer luck.
Yes,
And
and
cleverness.
hobbit in Lotor are naturally very lucky.
Yeah. So that's where I think that's where why all these fancy RPGs have halflings with those abilities. But yeah, internal compass. When you roll a 1 on your hope die, you can re-roll it. So yeah, not a 1 on your fear die, but your hope die, which is okay. That's interesting. Human. So humans, they don't. They actually don't get like you know how they owe in every TTRPG they give them something, so people are like, oh come on, give humans a try, guys, give them a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gain an additional strength. So yeah, they're more or less equal to all the other races. So like every race has their own advantage, and I thought like a lot of people who play humans were typically weren't people who were interested in playing humans, but people who wanted to play a variant human for a specific power build. Like I very rarely, I have my one friend, Duel, who is who helps out Alana a lot on her service. Duel is probably the only person who I know who picks human for the fun of playing a human. I don't know anyone else who does it. Everyone else I know does it to pick very human and do a min-max build.
See, I will often choose variant human just because I like having the feat, but I don't like it for the ability. I just like it because I find I just think having that feat makes it good because then it kind of helps with my fantasy of why I do like playing humans when I do. Of imagine being a human in a world full of
Give your balls a tug, you tit fucker.
fantastical other races.
Hold on, was that Cameron who redeemed tit fucker? I think it was. Thank you, Cameron. Also, I do agree with Dragfit. That's one of the few things I don't really like about 5e. If one character option is optimal in all classes, it should have been reworked. Yeah, that is true. I do agree with that. But sorry, go on with you there. Go on there, Noct.
I was just saying how I like the idea of playing a human in a world full of such fantastical creature races, species, whatever way you want to say it. Like a human, because we can all relate to what being a human is like. So being that in a universe where giants exist, where beings that can breathe fire or elements out of their mouths. Being a human in that world is just such a unique experience.
Tanjiro Kamado just came out with a jump scare. And thank you for the follow, Tanjiro. We are now at 190. It says follower gold net, but my next goal is 200. But holy shit, we're 10 away now from a Ravenloft game. Alright, Nabe, okay, so Noct, next week, or whenever your next game for D&D is, you have advantage, thanks to Nabe.
I will write that down. Thank you, Nabe. I will write that down.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, anyway, we better write, but see, that's the whole reason why I don't like playing as humans, me personally, because humans tend to be the main characters of most fantasy stories and get to have the spotlight to themselves. Also, I am a human every day. I don't want to relate with my character that way. I want to be something else that's not human. So, look at me right now. I'm a dragon. I much prefer to be a dragon. I don't get to be a dragon in real life, so I get to be a dragon in all my imaginary stories.
I don't play... Yeah, I don't play a human very often.
Yeah.
But... Like, it is my least played class.
Oh, no.
I will say that.
High stamina. Gain an additional stress slot at character creation. Oh. And, so you also got the student dice gift there from Dragonfey. A Magma Belcher Basilisk is always the worst. Magma Belcher Basilisk? Oh, yeah, that does sound pretty bad because their eyes can turn you to stone and they can just spit out magma. I've never run into one though. I might use that for one of our sessions. It's soloed your party? Holy fuck.
I'm on 4 student dice at the minute.
What level were you? Okay, anyway, so let's see here. Adaptability. When you fail a roll that utilized one of your experiences, you can mark a stress to re-roll. So yeah, it looks like humans that but to be honest, I'd say the human. I do think people will use human for the hybrid option because people like half orcs and half elves, and because they just have orc and elf and human, and they're just like, okay, there you go, make your half elf. But then again, you can make your half elf anything. It doesn't have to be half human.
That's actually how I've always. Sorry, you go first.
Yeah, Nabi just redeemed another advantage roll gift. It didn't play though, which is weird. Who is it for, Nabe? Oh, wait, no, I see now. The sound alert just got late saying it there. Okay. Only one member surviving, and it's cause the fucking Kobold Queen let him. Okay. Oh yeah, level 2. A regular basilisk is dangerous to a level 2 party. A frigging basilisk that can spit magma is way more dangerous. What were you going to say there, Noct? Sorry.
I was just going to say, that's how I personally always ran half elves and half orcs. I always personally ran it as it can be any one myself.
Yeah.
Like, I've once made a half orc that was for an NPC for a game I ran during college. It was a half orc, half dragonborn, so it was a dragon orc.
Also, hi Kingsley. That is Kingsley. Like they literally just put
that
Kingsley
is straight up
in there.
Kingsley.
That is literally Kingsley from Critical Role.
Yep, Mollymawk Tea Leaf, sorry.
Yeah.
That is indeed Mollymawk Tea Leaf.
Well, he was Mollymawk, now he's Kingsley Tea Leaf.
Yes.
Yeah.
First he was Lucian, then he was Mollymawk, then he was Lucian again, and now he's Kingsley.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so Fearless. So the Infernus. So yeah, the Tiefling equivalent. And look at all the horn designs here. Like, look at her. She's literally got a crown built into her forehead. Look at that. Look.
See, like, I know most people have always run it that the horns look anyway, but to legit say this is how the horns are, the horns can be anyway, because technically speaking, horns are only meant to be either the pushbacky horns or the the ram horns, but the fact that this one shows that they can legit be any way, just oh, I love it so much. I love tieflings because I'm bisexual, so I obviously love tieflings.
I mean, every single like so what your D&D race says about you thing that I've seen, it always says for tiefling it's always so you're bisexual, pansexual. And
Yeah,
yeah.
like I am pansexual, so obviously I love tieflings.
There you go. And also I think I remember one saying, and this felt very validating for me. So you're bisexual, but I'm actually pansexual. But yeah, so you're bisexual but scaly. That's what it said for Dragonborn. And I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you very much for that. I'm happy with that. I'll take that. That's just me. I can't remember who said it, but like it was. I only found one that said it. Every other one did not. Didn't suggest that for Dragonborn.
For Tabaxi, you're pansexual, but you're a furry.
Yeah, pretty much. Fearless. So when you roll with fear, you can mark 2 stress to change it into a roll with hope instead. Ooh, that's a pretty high cost, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a high cost, but a high reward. That is very much a cool little like.
Yeah.
You can screw yourself over, but you can also you can screw yourself over for immediate benefit.
Yeah. So Dread Visage, you have advantage on rolls to intimidate hostile creatures. That's pretty straightforward. That's actually a pretty cool one. And here we go, the Qatari. What degree of furry are you?
Yeah, what version of furry are you?
On a scale to 1 to 6, how furry are you? 1 being cat girl. 6
well,
being
I do love how they
furry.
can also be. I do personally love how they can also not just be human looking with cat ears, how they can actually be pure cat.
Yeah. Like, so, for example, to use Final Fantasy XIV as an example again, you can go for a Makote, which is the cat boys and cat girls, or you can go for the Hrothgar, who are the big buff lion people. But they also represent other cats, not just lions. We just go lions because their default haircut's a mane. They also represent tigers and the Final Fantasy exclusive big cat, the Curl. I think that's how you pronounce them. It's Curl or Curl. I don't know which is right. The ones with the weird mustache and the lightning whips on their backs. But yeah, anyway. Feline Instincts. When you make an agility roll, you can spend 2 hope to re-roll your hope die. Retracting Claws. Make an agility roll to scratch a target with melee range. On a success, they become temporarily vulnerable. Okay, so your claws don't do damage, but they do make your opponent vulnerable. So that doesn't make them OP, so that's actually quite good.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And we have the orcs. We got a whole wide range of orcs. That's the only pig-looking orc here, the one on the bottom right. I've never been a fan of pig orcs personally. I've never liked orcs that are just literally pigs. I much prefer them looking like an odd-skinned humanoid with tusks coming out their lower mouth, or like in Lord of the Rings. Those are my kinds of orcs. But yeah, no. See, they can even look hairy. You see these hairy fuckers here. So yeah.
AKA the bugbear.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your bugbear. The bugbear that probably attacked you, Tanjiro, at level 1. I knew I'd bring it back somehow. So Sturdy. When you have 1 hit point remaining, attacks against you have disadvantage. Hey, that's insanely OP.
That's a cool one.
Hold on. If you made a half work, if you took Sturdy, let's go back up to the human real quick. Right? And you take adaptability. When you use a failed roll utilizing one of your experience, you can mark a stress to re-roll. That's actually good. But if you took stamina, gain an additional stress slot at character creation, so you can take 1 more stress. So you'd be giving up the Sturdy, you'd still get the tusks. Well, I think for a half work, you'd be better off taking Sturdy and the second human ability. That's what I think. But yeah, the tusks are cool. The tusks are are way more dangerous than the Qatari's
The fact you can
claws.
actually use your tusks, you can use the tusks for damage is really
Yeah.
cool.
They're retractable too, so the fact is the orc's tusks can actually extend out and they can retract them,
Mm-hmm.
which is hilarious to imagine. It's just like Wolverine's claws, but they're coming out of your jaw. Yeah. When you succeed on an attack roll against a target within melee range, you can spend a hope to gore a target with your tusks, dealing 1d6 damage. So
I like the idea of when they have their tusks extended, they get like a lisp or something.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like...
You've been talking like this. It's hard to enunciate.
I love it so much.
Like this. I think it's one of
Yes.
Right, yeah, like
Yeah.
this. You see how
You're
hard
walking
it
like
is
this.
to enunciate. So yeah, they retract it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, finally I can talk again. But like, okay, hold on, guys. Oh, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck with me? Yeah, so you like that. I gouged your eyes out with one of those. It is pretty funny. And of course,
I love these guys.
the little frog people. They stand 3 feet to 4.5 feet tall. Everybody, can we take a minute to observe how adorable these little fuckers are? Look at them.
See, what I love even more is, I know it says 3 to 4 feet, but I still love the way Ashley Johnson did it for her ribbit.
Oh,
It's the size of a frog, so it is literally just
a tiny,
a little hand guy.
Yeah. So
And
amphibious.
she was a little wizard.
Yeah. Oh. Amphibious. You can breathe and move naturally underwater. That's actually super fucking useful for anytime you have to deal with water campaigns. Long tongue. You can use your long tongue to grab onto things within close range. Mark a stress to use your tongue as a finesse close weapon that deals a d12 physical damage using your proficiency. See, now the long tongue is great. The long tongue's great.
See, I know.
But if you're making a hybrid,
have-
why wouldn't you go with amphibious? Especially if you're going to deal with an aquatic campaign.
See, I would also if I was DMing this, if I was DMing Daggerheart, I think if a player came with me to this specific thing, I would allow it just because it's funny. If a half orc and a ribbit had a kid, and the player wanted the tusks and the tongue, I know you have to take 1 and 2, but I would allow that purely because it is so funny, the idea of a frog with 2 giant teeth just sticking out of their mouth. Now see, this is probably my favorite race in this, purely because this is a race I've been wanting in
Well, the
Dungeons
simian.
and Dragons for ages. I've been wanting a monkey race, an ape race for so long.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like,
I'm not talking about them ugly ass winged monkeys
the
from Space
Hadozi.
Cameras.
The Hadozi.
Yeah, I am talking about actual monkeys.
Alright, so they're natural climbers. You have advantage on agility rolls that involve balancing and climbing. Makes sense. Nimble, gain a permanent +1 bonus to your evasion at character creation. Pretty useful.
Yeah.
Alright.
But also, look at Simia Ranger up the top corner. The bow with the feet.
Actually, you know what? I just realized something. You could absolutely, in Daggerheart, make a Mario Universe party. Like, you got the Fungrel for the Toads.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Simia for the Kongs.
You got the humans for...
Yeah, the humans for all the human characters. And like, even if you want to like say play those asshole like palm tree people from Mario Sunshine, like you can just rework the Fungrel for them.
You could do a Bowser as a Draken and a giant.
No,
mix.
he'd be the DM's character. He'd be the villain. The DM would be
Yeah.
controlling Bowser.
Well, I suppose technically saying the browsers could be a turtle, could be a Galapa, because they're technically turtles.
He's a dragon turtle. No, he's actually a creature from Chinese myth referred to as a dragon turtle. That's why.
Yes,
that's why
sorry,
a lot
that's
of.
my
That's
mistake.
why a lot of people from. That's why a lot of other TTRPGs use dragon turtles without worrying about D&D suing, because technically they come
Yeah.
from Chinese folklore already. Like,
and then
you know the four gate guardians in Chinese folklore.
yeah.
Well, between each of them there is a hybrid version. So like between the dragon and turtle directions, right between them, that's where, like, you know, there's like a northwest guardian, a northeast guardian, like a southeast and a southwest guardian, and each of them are like the hybrids of two in between
up to
points.
2, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what directions those are. I think dragon is north, and that would mean turtle
Dragon is
either
north.
east or west. So
Dragon is north, bird is south, tiger is east, and turtle is west. And how I
Okay.
remember that?
So-
Digimon.
So okay, there we go. So northwest is what Bowser is. He's a north. He that's where the dragon turtles come from. They are the guardians of the northwest. Mixed ancestry. So we'll read the rules for mixed ancestry real quickly because
And we just also appreciate that those 3 little arts, the
Yeah.
3 little concept looking ones, like
Yeah.
the monkey moth.
yeah. So we got the Infernus Ribbit, the Horned Toad. We got the Fungal Galapa, the Shroom Shell, and the Fairy Simian, the Flitterkin. Those are great art pieces. So step 1, determine an ancestry at character creation. Write down how your character identifies themselves in the heritage section of your character sheet. For example, your ancestry could be a goblin orc or just a goblin with orc in their lineage, or if a name you choose like Toothling. I guess because like the goblin would have the half goblin would have the orc tusks. That would be my guess. Choose ancestry features. You must choose the first feature of one ancestry and the second of another. That is important. You can't just take the second from 2 or the first from 2. It has to be the first from one and the second from the other. That's a great way to balance it. Stops it from being unfair. But yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, we got communities here. I don't really think we really need to focus on the community. It's just like what wealth you are at. I think I want to talk about
Yeah.
the stuff that
I'd say
the next thing I think should be. Hold on, now, I gotta go up here for a second. There's
the adventures.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Hell yeah.
Look, they're gonna smash. They are gonna smash. Anyway,
Smash.
yeah. Let's go to the different settings that are here. I want to look at the settings because the settings are fun. So, and they also have like a whole bunch of like, yeah, here are the inspirations for them. All right, so actually,
Which is
pretty
so
far down the
awesome of
book.
them to do.
If anyone else has the PDF or the physical book, tell me what page it is so I could jump to it. I might be able to find it myself. Wait, I found it. I just gotta find the there.
I don't have them yet, actually.
Oh, you don't have the
I don't have a PDF version of it yet.
Hold on now. Aha! So campaign frame. So it does tell you how to make your own one. We're going to talk about these ones here. So the Wither Wild. I'm just going to go through the pitch and stuff like that. So the Wither Wild, when an invading nation attacks an ancient forest deity, a virulent overgrowth spreads throughout the land. This was designed by Carl Sisko, Rowan Hall, and Spencer Stark. Complexity rating is just a 1. I think it goes up to 5 in complexity. The pitch.
Yeah.
Read this section. So Fainwick was once a place of great abundance and peace, dangerous to those unfamiliar with the land, but a cornucopia to those who respected its ways. When Haven invaded the wilds and forced the land into eternal spring, a dangerous bloom known as the Wither Wild took hold and now threatens the lives of all who live there. In a Wither Wild campaign, you play unlikely heroes from humble beginnings who are reckoning with their newfound duty to save Fenwick's people from the dangerous corruption. Alright, tone and feel, adventurous, dynamic, epic, heroic, thrilling, uncanny, whimsical. Themes, culture class, end justifies the mean, brief, people versus nature, transformation and change, and survival. And here are the touchstones. Princess Mononoke, Legend of Zelda, the Dark Crystal, and Noska Valley of the Wind. Now, I think They didn't say which Zelda specifically, but I think it's meant to be Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom. That specific area of Zelda.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think by now that's the Zelda that most people have played at this point in time. I think it should. It should
Yeah,
be
I
by
can
this
also
point.
see a little bit of. I can also see a little bit of Twilight Princess.
Yeah, a little bit of Twilight Princess. I would agree there. Yeah, because I can't really think of any other Zelda games. Maybe Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which were the Game Boy Color games.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of those, but yeah.
Waker.
Sorry, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's more about the high seas, though.
Okay, yeah, I
Wind,
can.
Wind Waker's the whole thing about Wind Waker is the castle of Hyrule basically fucked off an evil god, and an evil god brought wrath and ruin across the entire land.
All right.
Yeah,
you know what,
nature.
you have a point,
technically,
you have
yeah,
a point.
because didn't the castle went undersea?
Yeah,
All right.
they fucked off Ganondorf, and then basically Ganondorf just said, "Haha, fuck you," and put everybody under the sea.
No, I think they put it under the sea to stop Ganondorf from taking over Hyrule, didn't they?
It was part and parcel of both of them.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
It's revealed later on down the line that they kind of fucked him off.
All right. So here's one that's interesting. 5 banners.
This is interesting.
Yeah, 5 banners burning. Actually, yeah, I'm surprised you haven't brought this one up because you've been very focused on Age of Umbra. But I'm surprised you haven't brought this one up, Noct, because this also seems like one you'd quite.
I didn't know this one was a thing.
Yeah, 5 banners.
I didn't know
burning.
this one was a thing, but this I like.
Yeah, 5 years into an armistice that ended a decade of warfare, the threat of a renewed conflict looms over the continent of Althus. I think that's how you say that, Althus. 5 nations in a delicate web of alliance and rivalry seek to exploit the opportunities granted by a period of rapid magical, political, and social change. All 5 nations deploy agents to strengthen allegiances, sabotage foes, and tip the balance of power in their favor. In a 5 banners burning campaign, you play heroes caught up in the twisting and ever-escalating conflict between nations, contending with competing loyalties, generational grudges, and opportunistic villains. So yeah, Tony,
Am I the only one that would love to do this with a party of 5 as a DM and have each player be from one of the 5 nations?
I was going to say that exact thing, to be honest.
I would definitely
That
at
would be
least try a
amazing.
one shot as a DM to get a feel for it. I would definitely I'd give all of these a one shot in fairness, but yeah, the complexity rating is only a 2 though, which when we get to the touchstones, that complexity rating of a 2 is going to be very funny. But anyway,
Because I read the touchstones
Yeah.
straight away, and
We'll-
then
we'll
I was
get-
like, oh, why didn't I know about this one?
yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. Like, we'll just talk about that in a second. But yeah, first things first, tone and feel: adventurous, dramatic, intimate, political, serious, sweeping. So yeah, I'm not sure how well I could do politics in D&D, in TTRPGs. I'd give it a go, but I think I could pretty much pull off the rest of the stuff.
I say you would be able to do politics very well, and even if you could, I would gladly give advice on how to do political, because I love doing political stuff. I love doing classism, especially is my favorite politicism to do in.
I will keep that in mind then. Okay, so the themes are divided loyalties, the nature of power, the price of ambition, and traditions versus innovation. So that's all stuff that is the stuff of like really dramatic role play right there, like massively. That is
As an actual as someone who has wrote
shit.
Yeah, as someone who is writing a novel, who has wrote small novels in the past, non-published, but tradition versus innovation and price of ambition is just 2 teams that are so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, actually, now, so the next thing we have here, so this is what makes the complexity rating hilarious. It is a 2, which isn't that high, but the first touchstone they put in is a Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
One
for
of
a
the most
2, that is
complex
insane.
book series of all time when it comes to like who's in it, who's doing what. It's just
Yeah.
the author is struggling to finish the books because it's so complex. Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is still complex but definitely simplifies it from
Yeah.
the first one. Babylon 5, I've never really watched that, so I wouldn't know. Friends at the Table Partisan, I don't know that one, to be honest.
I don't know that one myself.
Born to the Blade, that's probably a book, but I, again, can't.
Yeah, that's a book.
Court of Blades, don't know it. Dragon Age Inquisition, I've heard that at least.
Core of Blades is also a super complex book series.
So that just makes the complexity rating even more funny.
Yeah, and then Dragon Age is complex enough on its own,
Yeah, but
especially now.
it's specifically Inquisition. It's just the one game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Inquisition is all about you basically going around and building up an army because you are sentenced to death and then proceed to find yourself in a position of power and now have to basically
Yeah.
make an entire Inquisition on your own.
there we go. And then we have Everon. So this is probably the most straightforward one, but I'm surprised they were able to get away with saying it. Everon, Rising from the Last War, which is the 5e Everon book.
In all fairness, they're only saying it's a touchstone, so they've
Yeah.
taken inspiration from it. That's all they're saying.
Mm.
So, like, the fact that it's just probably inspiration for the themes and for the tone and feel of the game. Not that they've actually pulled anything from Eberron itself.
Yeah.
I say
That's
for that one
probably how I'm
is
feeling.
the. Yeah, I'd say for Eberron is where we're talking about the tradition versus the innovation,
Yeah.
because obviously with
Yes.
Eberron,
Yeah.
Okay,
they
so
created Warforges.
here are the five. Here are the five nations. So like they all have a blurb. They stop here at Voldane. So like yeah, we can. This is something good to go over at some point. And like here, I imagine what their relationships to each other are. They keep it light, so anyone who gets this book can make the world their own. And it goes through like whatever community you pick. It tells you
What you're like.
what it's like for that world. Player principles and GM principles. So yeah, like I have to like if I ran that, I have to force you to choose between your loyalties. So that is make your actions reflect or refute your allegiances. So yeah, a lot of really heavy stuff there. I'm not really sure if a two
Again-
is accurate.
Again, going back to
That
what
should
Noct,
be more, if you ask me.
Yeah,
going back to what Noct said, that would make for really, really good roleplay and make it really funny
yeah,
if you had 5 players, one from each of the individual areas.
yeah. And also
One for
look
each
to work
of the
together.
individual-
here are the
Yeah.
here are the faction relationships as well. So like each of them actually gives you different stats. So that's actually quite interesting. And we also get like the little logos here. That's cool.
Yeah, the crests.
And we got session 0. Anyway, this is my favorite one. Beast Feast. This is the one I'd want to run.
This is Delicious in Dungeon.
It's Delicious in Dungeon meets Monster Hunter and has the tone of Delicious in Dungeon and One Piece. So it can be really fucking silly and whimsical, but it can have its dramatic, sad moments too.
That will also, I'd say, because I didn't know this one existed until you told me about
Yeah,
it.
this is
The only two I knew about was the one
This-
I keep bringing up,
yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
Zelda one.
This is the one I'd want to run. Now, the only thing is, in the lore for it, they only talk about one village. But I'd like to expand the world and have like just a whole continent, because the whole thing is the world is a very dangerous place. And in the town that they do discuss for this one, in the town that they do discuss for it, it has a special protection right that's fading, which means they're running low on supplies and monsters are attacking the village more often. So it means that a whole bunch of people whose ancestors used to be adventurers, but they're not adventurers, they have to journey down into the cave system to reinstate their sigil. but it only talks about cooking the monsters in this. And it only talks about that village. So if I was to do it, I'd probably go with this world, but I'd expand it. Not just like making the monsters food, but also making them into weapons. Because Monster Hunter is one of the touchstones. So I'd want to lean into that more. And I'd also want to see, well, if that's how this village survived, how did other villages get around it? Did they have to like start living with the monsters? Did they have to start using the monsters as their weapons? Then like surely they would also have to feed on the monsters to survive. So it could be easily spread out. Easily.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, let's read the pitch. We'll continue on with it. A rustic peace village of Elmore. That's the one I was talking about. Atop the Flower Caves, a labyrinthine system of caverns full of dangerous and delectable creatures. When the powerful magic keeping the villagers safe begins to fail, the bravest among them must descend into the caves to save the day. In a Beast Feast campaign, they'll play everyday heroes, diving into the Plover Caves to reignite the magic lore that lies in its depths, and cook up delicious meals. Welcome to a culinary world of Zoophagus. I hope I'm saying that right. Delight. Zoophagus? Anyway.
Vegas, yeah.
Zoophagus, yeah. Where the beasts you fight become the food you eat. Tone and feel, absurd, comedic, creepy, fun, lighthearted, silly. Themes, circle of life, friendship and loyalty, nature's bounty, overcoming fear, violence and peace. Okay, they only have 3 touchstones, and the first one is of course Delicious in Dungeon. And the second one is Monster Hunter World, which is the one that came out right before Wilds. We could use Wilds as pretty much everything that World had, so you can use that as well as a touchstone.
Yes.
And
The only reason why they probably didn't say Wilds is because
more people.
one, Matt's not in Wilds, but also two, more people know World, and Wilds probably wasn't out by the time.
Yeah, well, they were writing this
This
up.
story was being written.
Yeah, this particular setting was being. And One Piece. So I think One Piece is more about the tone rather than the storytelling, because this one does not strike me as high seas adventures or visiting different islands that have like completely different cultures from one another. So complexity rating 2. I don't think it's a 2 at all. I think this is a 1. This one is very straightforward. But yeah, we get a lot of cool.
I can see maybe why the 2, because you need to come up with like the whole what part is safe to eat, why is it safe?
Yeah. Well, I guess, but like that doesn't really seem like it'd be the complexity story. But here's a funny thing. Look at the fun grill here. Like what? Like they everyone else is fine. So they added in the clanks. Clanks can consume organic matter, but they may lack the ability to taste the food. Instead, they might enjoy the culinary arts for their qualities, such as textures or aesthetics. That's cool.
I love the first line of Fungrel. Oh my god.
Fungrel can hear mushrooms screaming as they are harvested. Unfortunately, a majority of plant life in Plover Caves is fungi. Adventurers might need to find alternative ingredients if it helps make cooking a more shame-free activity.
I love the idea, just as you're like frying them, just help me.
Yeah. Oh god, I like you even get some nice art of everybody cooking together, and they're fighting like.
I'm curious.
Dragons there, but yeah, here's the thing.
Yeah,
they have special physical weapons which are cooking themed weapons, which is great.
That's
but
really
I
cool.
kind of wish they also included some monster themed weapons. So like there it is. All right, and like these are just the tier 1 ones. There are actually higher level ones here. These are the primary magic weapons, secondary weapons, all of that. Well, actually, that pot does not look very appetizing, but everything else actually does look pretty good, if I'm being honest. Not the pot though. The pot looks like dire bear meat, cave boar milk. Actually, there was a creature in one of Matt's videos. They called it like the Strix wolf, which is like a hybrid between an owl and a wolf, and it's just like it's not in this book. So I'm thinking that's hinting at a future book, and the Strix wolf is in that.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm hoping so for anyway. Oh yeah, and look, you get some different ingredients from the animals. You roll a d20 to see what you get. So every fight.
That's very cool.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you get whole events based on the feasts. It's really cool. So now
This is one I'm surprised it is only a 3.
yeah. Complexity rating 3.
This is
Age of Umbra.
Yeah.
So
this is the one my
Matt,
favorite.
This is what Critical Role is currently doing for their campaign
because
right now.
Matt
Yeah,
Mercer
their
is the
summer
one who
campaign.
designed it.
Right. I do need to disappear.
You need to go. Okay. Well, thank you for sitting
I'm
with
sorry
us,
about
Selena.
that. Thank you very much,
Don't
everybody.
worry.
It's been an amazing day. Thank you very much, and see you all tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow. Yeah, I'll
See
see you for the
you.
collab.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah, me and Selena are going to be collabing with Mooney. We're playing Power Wash Simulator together tomorrow.
Very nice.
Yeah, okay. So here we go. Here's the pitch for the Age of Umbra. Alright? So, a century has passed since the God King, Othadius, betrayed the Pantheon, provoking the divine punishment and abandonment by the gods that left the realm of the Halcyon domain shattered, desolate, and eternally cursed. Throughout this shadow-cloaked land of decaying fortresses and dreadful monstrosities, surviving communities cling to hope in the face of lightless oblivion. In the Age of Umbra campaign, you'll play heroic survivors, protect their community from the terrors beyond their walls, venture out into the unknown to hunt the nightmares that twist and grow with each fallen soul, seek answers to the curses that corrupt this world, and perhaps even discover a way to change its fate. Tone and feel: ancient, daunting, epic, grim, ominous, terrifying, tragic. Themes: apocalypse, corruption, darkness versus light, hope, redemption, survival. Touchstones: Dark Souls, Kingdom Death Monster. I don't know Kingdom Death Monster. It does sound like a game though. Berserk, the Seventh Seal. There's a few Seventh Seals. I'm not sure which one it means. But yeah, and Blasphemous. I think Blasphemous is a movie. I've heard of it before.
Blasphemous is there's a game, there's a movie. I think there's a movie of Blasphemous. I know there's a game.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, we know what Berserk and Dark Souls are, and the Seventh Seal. There's a few different stories titled the Seventh Seal.
Blasphemous is a video game. It's not a movie.
Ah, okay. There we go. Well, I've probably heard.
Yes, and then the
Yeah, if you look at everyone here, like they are not having a good time. It's the complete opposite of the feast, of Beast Feast, and like yeah, you can see people here.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here. Player, oh Jesus Christ! Look at that! Look at that nightmare fuel.
Look how cool that is.
Yeah.
Look how cool it is.
And this is just a Hydra that has hands for heads.
With tiny little holes in the middle for
I don't know
mouth.
what the fuck is going on there, but it is not kinky. It is definitely pain. Not the fun kind. Unless you're a Cenobite, of course. And that's just ominous.
That's just a flesh pit.
And here we have Minas Morgul. More or less.
Yeah, okay, that's just Minas Morgul.
Okay, now we have Motherboard.
Then this
is the science fantasy one. And this is just as
cool.
complex
I did not
as
know this one was in it.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll see what it's based on when we get to the touchstones, which is a lot of stuff I have heard. Actually, I've heard of all of it except for the last one, but we'll get to the touchstones later. So this was made by Meggie Baker, I think that's how you say that. Rowan Hall and Spencer Stark. Oh, Spencer Stark is back. Among the ancient, so in a world where magic takes form of the technology left behind by a long-fallen civilization, a new threat rises as a malicious virus spreads through machines that wander the wastes. Among the ancient ruins of the fallen world, the great walled cities of Echo Vale sit as bastions of hope in an otherwise hostile land, utilizing technology powered by mysterious language that runs through metal threads tethered high above the valley. These citadels insulate their citizens from the wastes, where autonomous machines roam wild and massive wandering cities scour the land for scrap. But when a malicious virus infects the machine beasts that work alongside the people of the valley, the once docile creations turn violent into the motherboard. In a motherboard campaign, you'll use technology instead of magic. So yeah, you're everything magic flavored is technology flavored. As you play extraordinary heroes, leaving the safety of the walled cities to travel the waste and bring peace to the Vale once more. So themes are artificial intelligence, identity and personhood, innovation, technology versus humanity. So in this world, the Clanks would actually be full-on androids. They wouldn't be like a fantasy automaton. They are absolutely androids in this. So the touchstones are Horizon Zero Dawn, Mortal Engines, Mad Max Fury Road, which is more post-apocalyptic, but it does get the vibe. The Final Fantasy series, Full Metal Alchemist. I'm not quite sure how that one fits in, but I guess it's I can see something of it. And Slug Blaster. I don't know what Slug Blaster is. I know what everything else is. Just not Slug Blaster.
Slug Blaster is another game system that is very much a modern adventure, like set in the real world, set in a slightly more technology advanced world. It is a very realistic, but also when I say realistic, I mean like 80s. So like skateboards, bikes, your teenagers type thing.
Now, I can definitely see the influence that Horizon Zero Dawn and Mortal Engines had, and the Final Fantasy series, whereas most of it, I would say, would come from games like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and possibly 13, even though 13 sucks. Fight me on that. There are elements of Final Fantasy 14 from some expansions where they have ancient civilizations with powerful technology, but they still keep the fantasy elements there. So yeah, I can see those. Mad Max Fury Road, that's mostly post-apocalyptic, but I guess that touchstone is more for the party more than the DM. So I guess it could work for the DM too. Like, you could have a whole bunch of psychopaths driving cars, for instance, like chasing you down and all that. Full Metal Alchemist, I guess because alchemy is more of a science and they're trying to flavor magic as a form of science and technology. So yeah. I guess. But yeah, they got some really cool things here. Oh, that looks like one of those like cyber dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it reminds me of that. Hold on now. Look at this. We just got like a big mechanical cat.
That's straight up Horizon reference.
Yeah. And like the moving cities, that is the City of Bones reference there, I think. Like I only heard of it because the movie
that's the Mortal
came out.
Engine one.
Mortal Engine. That's what I meant. Sorry. They didn't make a movie about that, but I heard the movie the movie is awful. But the books are supposed to be great.
The movie is so bad. The movie is so bad. The books are amazing, but the movie is so bad. It's so bad.
Got the GM principle. Okay, so we have a few more of these areas. Trying to get past this. Yeah, you get a whole bunch of technology kind of like language stuff there. Aha! Colossus of the Drylands. This one is a 4-star one. It is the most complicated one, but it is by far one of the most.
I can already tell I love this.
Yeah, I can
already tell I will love
this.
this.
Shadow of the Colossus meets Red Dead Redemption. I'm not even joking. It is those two things mixed together.
So good.
Yeah, it's fantasy western mixed with Shadow of the Colossus. Like, this has its own set of monsters. So a prosperous region of gunslingers and outlaws have fallen into terror as colossal creatures awaken from beneath the earth. The Drylands were a place that put the old stories aside. While superstitious miners have long said that the crystals growing in the wild in this desert are made from the very life essence of forgotten gods, the folk around here had real work to do, and actual deities were left for campfire stories. That is until a massive colossus answered the call of something ancient and apocalyptic, rising from the earth and devastating the lands. The bold prospectors, tired laborers, and born-again worshippers in the duty of the town of Willen's Gulch were thrown from their routine of industry and exploitation. I thought that was exploration for a second. Forced to raise scattered armies and watch them die to the behemoth's strength. And this is only the first of many titanic beasts poised to terrorize the land. In a Colossus of the Drylands campaign, you play a heroic posse of mavericks who must save their home from a legion of colossi and a primordial god seeking vengeance. I think the two of you would honestly love this setting. This feels like it was made for you two in particular. I won't lie.
That's my second favorite. I think that might be my Umbra will still be my number one no matter what.
Yeah.
I just love Dark Fantasy too much to not. This will be my second, purely also because Shadow of the Colossus is one of my most favorite games ever made.
Yeah.
I adore Shadow of the Colossus to no end.
Awe-inspiring, dusty, eerie, gritty, larger than life, terrifying. That's the tone and feel. So yeah, themes: breaking cycles, the burden of heroism, faith versus doubt, greed, ordinary people accomplishing the extraordinary, and the touchstones: Shadow of the Colossus, Red Dead Redemptions, Deadlands, and On the Shoulders of Colossus. I think those are all video games, actually.
Yeah, they're all video games.
Yeah. I'm familiar. I'm most familiar with Shadow of the Colossus and Red Dead Redemption, but I am aware of Deadlands and On the Shoulders of Colossus. But yeah, like I think this game, I think a lot of people would enjoy. Yeah, and
This
actually,
and the Feast one would probably be joint. I'd have to play from like just hearing about them. They'd be joint second. I'd need to actually like play them to be able to pick one out of them.
just gonna roll down here. Yeah, it's even got the gun weapons listed here. You got your primary weapons, revolver, rifle, shotgun. You also got your lasso and your small revolver. You also got consumable. You got dynamite. Dynamite.
Yeah, I'd say out of them, my obviously without playing them, just from hearing them, my least favorite would probably be the sci-fi one, the last one, the
Yeah.
Motherlands.
I could get that. You know who actually might like that because she likes Horizon Zero Dawn? Alana would probably like that.
Like I love Horizon Zero Dawn. Don't get me wrong, but just out of the five that I've just from hearing of them, it would be my least. But that's just because the others sound more interesting. But no, the number one will be Age of Umbra, just because oh my god, look at that motherfucker.
Yeah, we got some monsters here. And the monsters are broken up by their body parts.
That's so good.
Yeah. So you gotta work them down. There's a few more of them here, I think. Hold on now. Yeah, so you gotta build them like that. Look at that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Murderous Train Colossus. And look, we've got like a two-headed dragon that's made of like fire and desert.
Oh, that's so good. Are you sure that's not just one head and a wing?
Might be one-headed wing, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's actually a bird, actually. And look at this nightmare feud.
Oh.
It's like Zugat Moy and Lulk, who are traditionally rivals, got forced together in a fusion.
Look how cool that thing is.
Yeah, and like it's spawning a bunch of creepy insects. Oh, yeah. Actually, I think this might be Alana's least favorite one because she hates spiders.
For that thing?
Yeah.
Wood.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wood.
Yeah, so we got the Kalir. It's called the Kalir. It's got its head, it's got its claws, it's got its legs, it's got the shell as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So we've reached the end there. So Noct and Anubis, tell me now, out of like I have already heard what areas Noct wants to play. Anubis, what one of these, which of these campaigns most interests you?
Hmm. I wouldn't mind the Colossus one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you had to pick like a second,
I've never played the Shadow of the Colossus games. I've never played the original. I didn't play the remake. But it might be an interesting case.
Yeah, it's essentially cowboys versus kaiju, more or less. And what other ones would you be interested in trying out of curiosity?
Probably Umbra or the one that's. And you said the one that's you said it was like Full Metal Alchemist or something.
That was the techno one. The one that's like Horizon Zero Dawn. That had Full Metal Alchemist in there, but it was more like Horizon Zero Dawn and Mortal Engines. But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist was one of the inspirations. For me, I definitely have
For
to
me,
yeah.
sorry, you go first.
Yeah, I think we've heard a lot about what you wanted to do now, but go on.
The 5 boundary one sounds so fun though as well.
Oh, the 5 banners one, yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually think that one might end up being more dark than the Age of Umbra if it was run.
Do you think so?
I'll tell you why I think so. Because one, you're dealing with
Mhm.
monsters. The other one, you're dealing with the possibility of betrayal from people you've trusted. I think
That's actually a very good
one
point.
is scarier for sure. The other one is more gut wrenching. I think
Yeah.
that I honestly just because something's scary doesn't mean it's darker. I honestly think
That is very true.
yeah. So I think the 5 banners by far is the actual darkest one that you could run this. But I'd have to say, yeah, my favorite is Beast Feast, hands down. Like, there's no competition, man. But if there was a close second, it's gotta be Cowboys versus Kaiju. I mean, it's a Wild
like
West
honestly, after
adventure
hearing
with
them all,
eldritch horrors. That's fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
after hearing them all, my number 2 would be between
Colossus of
this one,
Drylands.
the
Yeah.
Colossus of the Drylands, and the Feast one,
Yeah.
the Beast Feast,
Yeah.
or
so
wherever it's
just-
called.
Yeah, Beast Feast, that is what it's called. Yeah, so, like, there's just a bunch of cool ideas in here. And there is a section in this book that teaches you how to make monsters. So the fact that they had, like, the whole colossi there's ways to make your own colossi as well. So, there you go. Other than that, I think we've pretty much covered everything we could cover in Shadowheart without spoiling too much of the book.
Yeah.
So I think it might be a good idea now if we go right out to someone.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, actually, I gotta make you two a little bit smaller because Anubis's profile picture is blocking the chat box there. Just in case anyone else has anything to say. Let us see who is online right now that I could rate out to. Onto Twitch. Who is available to rate? Oh, hey! My friend Taro Gatal, aka The Bull, they are on right now. So I think we'll rate out to Taro Gatal.
Nice.
Yeah. That is a good choice, I think. There we go. They're playing Spyro: A Hero's Tale. All right. They're doing a GoFundMe right now. Taro is trying to, or the bull. The bull is trying to raise money for for the cost of their brother's top surgery. So, like, their brother just
very
had
nice.
top surgery, and they're trying to help cover the costs for that. So, yeah, that's what it is. And I believe
Very
their
nice.
brother is in the stream with them. So, yeah. All right, we're raiding out to the bull. I'll see everyone over there. Thanks everybody so much for joining us. I'm sorry we didn't get to do the final episode of Year 1 of Strixhaven tonight. We'll try and do it for next week instead. Say la vie. Alright. Raiding over now. Starting the raid. And once we're ready to hit now. Anything you two want to say before we're done?
No, nothing I can think of.
Anubis?
No, I'm pretty good.
Alright. I will say one thing though. Tomorrow, myself, Selena, and Mooney are doing another V Dungeon collab at around 2 p.m. Irish time. It'll be my first time playing Power Wash Simulator. So, should be fun. Alright.
Very fun game, very
relaxing
fun.
and therapeutic. I will admit that.
Yeah. That's good. Anyway, I'm going to hit raid now. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.